Everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru, coming to you very, very late in downtown Manila. Don't feel sorry for me. I've had a power nap and I've got 3 or 4 more sessions to go. But today I've got a very, very interesting guy who can help you a lot, providing you do what he tells you and providing you listen, right? We all need this gentleman, I tell you, I promise. He's got an interesting name. It's, ready? Here we go. It's 𝐼𝐢𝐧𝐮𝐭𝐞𝐬. And
Perfect.
And there you go, Sam. I've been practicing. You've had it all your life. It's easy for you. Right. Current title, he's a founder, CTO, and business company name is Productive Computer Systems, PCS. He's going to tell you all about that shortly. In the IT industry, he's only done this for a short time, just 44 years. Man, I think he goes back to fucking mainframe computers when they were as big as a house. You know, it's unbelievable, right? He can tell you a bit about computers, I'm sure. Oleg's the founder of Productive Computer Systems. Over the past decades, I've helped dozens, probably hundreds, not dozens, businesses from hospitality venues and service providers to retail, non-profits streamline their operations using smart IT, automation, and modern tools. My focus is always on practical tech tools and systems. They'll set you free, guys. Systems are the secret, I tell you. That fit into what people already do, not force everyone to learn brand new workflow. In other words, he improves the workflow. If the water's going through a 1/2-inch hole, he'll open it up and make it a 4-inch hole for you guys, and you'll go quicker, faster, and you'll get to where you want to go quicker, right? In PCS, we've built licensed customs application for, I believe the company name is 𝐼𝐢𝐧𝐮𝐭𝐞𝐬, a real-time one-on-one video calling platform. Amongst them, we've also integrated AI, automation, and process design to reduce repetitive work, improve customer experience, and free up teams to focus on what really matters. What I've found is the most transformative tech isn't flashy, it's reliable, well integrated, and designed for the people who are using it. That's important, guys. You better get to use it, otherwise you're going to leave it in the corner. Right. My goal is to help businesses not just survive in today's fast-changing digital world, but to thrive. Whether that means by speeding up customer interactions, reducing overhead through automation, or connecting customers and staff to more meaningful ideas, I believe thoughtful technology can make a big difference. And guys, if you're not up to speed with AI, and it's very difficult because it changes every day, this man, it's his living. You stick to what, if you're a baker, bake bread. If you're a mechanic, fix cars. Let this man do your IT work for you. You won't look back, I promise you, right? Key achievements or projects. Here's a compact podcast really list of key achievements you can highlight. Short enough to mention a few sentences, but compelling enough to show credibility. And we've got a few here, which we'll be putting up on his bio. Personal motto, use AI, but don't forget you have a brain. That's very interesting. You know, they say, guys, garbage in, garbage out. So think what you're doing. Facts about himself. I played the drums, originated from USSR, Ukraine to be more specific. My great pleasure to welcome to the stage. I'm going to go all the way back and find what I'm after. To Oleg. How are you, my friend Oleg?
Thank you, Jeff. Very, very nice introduction. I couldn't have said it better myself. But thank you. Pleasure to be here.
No trouble. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you 40-odd years ago to get into the tough world of computers. Where did it all begin?
It all began with my father, actually, making a point at home when I was eager to start my career being a drummer, to say that, you need to help out the family, and music is not something you're going to make any money on, and you need to do something else. And, so anyway, he was kind of pushing me. But actually what really happened was a friend of mine in school. He was one of the 3 people who spoke Russian, which at the time I didn't speak any English when I became. So I went to high school just, to learn English and so on and so forth. He was taking this computer class, which I couldn't even spell the word computer at the time. And they had this game called Snake on one of the old Radio Shack computers. And I liked it so much that I decided to take the class just so I can play the silly game. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah. And after I took the class, I realized I really, really like this computer stuff and programming and things like that. And so that's how my career got started.
Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I was a big Space Invaders man. You remember Space Invaders?
Of course, that was my first game on my first computer. My first computer was Atari 800.
You go.
And I had a cassette tape. It was a cassette tape with Space Invaders on it.
Yeah,
It was actual cassette tape. At the time, they didn't have any other storage for the computer.
that's right. Yeah, you set of cassette tapes. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how have you overcome that over the years?
Most what? I'm sorry?
Challenging part of your work, the most challenging part.
The most challenging part usually is having people open up their minds a little bit. Most people are averse to change. And if
Yes,
you want to make progress, you have to be open to a change. And
absolutely.
so what happens is people get stuck into this. We've always done it this way. This
Yeah,
kind of mentality. We've always done it this way. It's okay to continue doing what they're doing because they've always done it this way. And this is, to me, is the biggest problem with moving forward business wise, is if you live in that kind of mode. My usual answer, which, I do a lot of joking, I usually say, well, then you're not going home in your car. You're going to get on the horse probably, right? To go home today. Because if you've always done it this way, that's how people always done it before.
yeah,
Why are you doing this? And then at the same time, it's like, the guy whips out his phone and he makes a call and said, you have this smartphone. Why don't you use it for notes and everything? No, 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 no. Because he also has this, the little notebook in his pocket he writes. And I said, you can do all this on your phone. You can find things. I can find things in my notebook. Come on. I've done this for 40 years. So it's that, to me, that's the biggest challenge, is people having an open mind enough to understand that change is good.
absolutely.
Not to say that you need to change everything all the time for the sake of change. Absolutely not.
No.
But there are many, many things that if you just open your mind just a little bit and embrace the change to a larger degree, you can do a lot more stuff. So that's been, to me, my biggest challenge in terms of trying to get things done the way they should be done.
We get it about people changing. We got 36 team members here. A lot of them are virtual assistants. And we say, I've got people who can work for you for $15 a day, right, and do the donkey work. Like I tell people, unless you love it, why would you wash your car? Why would you clean your pool? Why would you get a fucking ladder and climb up on the roof and clean the leaves out of the gutter and fall off and break your neck? Pay someone 15, 20 bucks an hour to do that while you make 50 or 100 bucks doing what you do. Do what you love.
Yeah, and this is one of these things that also, speaking of time, this is one of the biggest things I help people with in terms of not challenges, but in terms of help to them, in terms of bringing my knowledge and experience to them, is that there are only 24 hours in a day, and there's absolutely nothing anybody can do about that.
That's right.
People still need to run their businesses. Yep. And it takes a certain amount of time. They're the only ones who really know how to do it right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business. So the bottom line is there is very limited time between the family time and the work time and the business time. All this stuff takes time, and you still have only 24 hours a day. So what I usually do is I come in, I evaluate what businesses do. I look at things that are complicated, difficult, repetitive, manual, costly, things like that. And if I find any of the things that match these categories, that to me is the first things that they should do to improve their business, is to automate it. In other words, you get somebody else or something else to do it for you. And at the same time, even if they learn what I've learned, which obviously I'm not anything special, I spend time to learn what I learned, they can do the same thing. They just don't have the time to dedicate to their families and business, everything else within that 24-hour. So that's where you hire somebody who knows what they're doing to get this thing done for you, so you can to basically free up more time for you. Because otherwise you'd have to do it, and there's not enough time as it is. This way you get somebody who knows what they're doing, which is very, very important. And they will tell you what to do. They will tell you how to do it. And one of the most important things I usually tell everybody who is my prospective client, and all my clients know it, is just as important, even more important. Not only to know what to do and how to do it, but why you should do it.
Why you doing
okay?
it?
And that usually opens up people's eyes, because I explain to them. I don't just tell them, do this because I know more about computers than you do. Nobody likes that kind of attitude. But if I tell them this is why I recommend we should do this, this, and that, then lights come on in their head. They understand it. And one of the things that people kind of accused me of before, which I wear with a badge of honor, I try to explain things in a simple to understand manner as possible, so people don't feel like, like one of my friends used to say, well, you know all this stuff. First of all, I don't know all this stuff, number one. Nobody does. Second of all, I try to explain things in the way that anybody can understand. So this why part comes in, and they understand what it is, and then they can make a decision, because they still make a decision. It's their business. Do they want to do this particular project or not? I just facilitate the what and how after explaining the why, and then then everything goes the way it's supposed to go.
I tell people you don't need the lesson, but I tell some people, I say, listen, my friend, don't talk butterfly language to a caterpillar. You got to dumb it down. You got to talk their language. They don't know bits and bytes and megabytes.
Exactly.
They don't know that stuff. You got to tell them what it is. You know, you got to tell them.
Yeah, tell it in the way that they understand.
That's
I'm
right.
not just telling what it is, but so understand. If they understand, then that's it. Then
Yeah.
basically you're done.
Simplify it. Tell me,
Yep.
in your career so far, what's been an important moment in your career that changed your direction dramatically? What helped? What
I
changed?
would say the biggest thing. I mean, initially there were two things. The first thing was the internet. When it came to into the
Absolutely.
mainstream, it just opened up my eyes. Like, oh my God! I mean, you can do
Well,
all these different things all of a sudden. So that was the first thing when it came onto the scene. Because like you said, I initially come from the time when people still use mainframes. Right now, people don't even know how to spell the word mainframe or what it means. And the second thing, the biggest, I think, even the bigger impact was the AI. When AI came, and I all of a sudden saw what you can do, and I saw the low entry level. See, before there were a lot of IT tools that people could use, but they were super expensive. Computers were expensive, memory was expensive. So small businesses could not afford, even though the stuff was out there and they could use it, they couldn't use it because they couldn't afford it. When AI came, all of a sudden you have a tremendous number of capabilities for services that cost either nothing or next to nothing. So anybody, I don't care how small a business you are, you can definitely afford to step into the AI world. Obviously, like anything else, there's unbelievable amount of hype. You do need to know what you're doing, but if you put that aside, then there's tremendous opportunity for saving. The biggest thing from AI to me is saving time. The 24 hours we talked about, all of a sudden now you can do a lot more things. You can have one of these, what they call agentic or agents, that basically just simply means your assistant that you're not paying almost any money for. It's an assistant comes in and says, what do you want me to do? And you tell it, I want you to go do this, and that, and he just goes and does it.
That's right.
So when you look at
it, does it well.
It does it well. And also there you can have, it's not just one assistant, you can have literally thousands of these assistants going out doing stuff at the same time. So with that being the case, it's a huge changer. Like one of the things I have on my website, for example, is a small voice-based assistant that's right on my website. You can go to my website, check it out, and you click on it and basically click on talk to me, and it starts actually talking to you. It says, do you want to enable the mic? So you enable the mic so it can hear you, and you just start talking to it using voice. You're not typing anything, you're just using voice. What is PCS? And what kind of services do you offer? And how much do you charge for this? And any question you have, it'll answer. So I used to work for a mortgage company. They had a website with, I think it was like 165 pages.
Wow.
Website. Who is going to read a 165-page website? The answer is nobody. Nobody. And so if you consider the fact that for your business, you can take one of these smart assistants, as they call them, voice assistants, and you put them on your website. Now you don't need to have, even if you look at, like, for example, people try to solve this problem with FAQ. It's not only do you have pages, you also have a page called frequently asked questions, or FAQ, and you put questions and answers so people know what's what. Problem is, if you have it too short, then people don't get their answers. If you have it too long, nobody is reading it. So that also wasn't a solution. But this thing you can actually just talk to. You can actually go in and say, what is this? And what do you do? And how do you do it? And can you tell me about this? And who's running this company? And how long have you guys been in business? It's all the typical questions you ask of a new business. It'll answer all of them for you. I mean, very intelligently, very eloquently. And so if those kind of capabilities, it doesn't just save you time. Imagine a hotel that's running or a B&B, and then somebody at 3:00 in the morning wants to make a reservation. Well, there's nobody to make a reservation at 3:00 in the morning, or they want to know, what kind of fishing spots are around that area because they're coming next Monday. And then I went one time, to tell you a quick story real quick. I went to a vacation one time with one of my clients because they did a lot of stuff with hospitality. And it was on Friday, we came with the family, and I said, can you tell me the best fishing spots to go in this area? And the lady says, you want to come back on Tuesday? Jeff is going to be back on Tuesday. He's the one who knows. I'm like, you're a freaking concierge. That's your job. I'm here on Friday. You're telling me to wait till Tuesday? Half of my vacation will be gone. So that's what I mean. You put one of these smart things on your website, And then when it asks, it'll tell them. And then after you find out about the fishing spots, you say, where's the best place to get dinner? And it tells you about the dinner, and on and on and on. These things are incredibly valuable for not only customer service, but also improving and increasing your business, because you're giving people what they want.
Absolutely.
And your customers absolutely love you. And it costs you very little.
They come back.
They come back.
Here's a funny story. I interview a lot of people, and I'm a business guru, and I'm talking to business people all the time, and I get a lot of people, and I nearly fall off my chair the first couple of times. Jeff, do you think I should spend $20 on ChatGPT? And I go, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I'll pay it for you, my friend. Right?
Yeah, no, actually, I'll give you a little. I'll give your listeners here a little advice here. If you don't want to spend $20 on ChatGPT, go to a website called abacus.ai.
Yep.
And this will allow you to get the equivalent of ChatGPT $20 for $10. So it's just abacus.ai. And then you can also tap into Claude and other AI services. So if you absolutely don't want to spend $20 for ChatGPT, which I totally agree with Jeff that you should, then at least get this other one, and you'll be much happier.
And if you don't get it, you're being left behind, guys. You're going to stay in the horse and buggy days. Really, you are. I mean, I'm 77, and I've had to embrace it, guys. It amazes me every day of my life. Every day, guys, I wake up to something different, and I run after my assistant. And I wish, frankly, I wish it was $1,000, because I would pay the $1,000 and there'd be a lot less idiots on it. Wouldn't be?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's one of my strongest concentrations of my efforts in terms of my clients is you need to embrace and start using AI in an intelligent and meaningful manner. Because if you think about it, why are you in business? You're in business to make money.
That's right.
Okay? If you're going to be making money, what's the best way to make money? I mean, what can enhance you making money? There's lots of different things. Main thing is you need to get time. If you have more time, you can make more money. AI gives you ability to have more time, and that's a total game changer right there.
Tell me, in your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have contributed to your amazing success over the years? What's been the main thing?
The main thing is keeping things simple. I'm a big, I developed this icon you were mentioning, which is a video calling app for one-on-one calls, just for one-on-one. It's not meant to replace Zoom. It's only for one-on-one, and it has some special features. But the idea was to make it unbelievably, what I call stupid simple. Okay? Yeah. Or actually, I call it painfully simple. I don't call it stupid. I call it painfully simple. And that's one of the key things I do always in my software. It needs to be simple, because people don't use it if it's not simple. So that's one thing. Second thing, in terms of designing stuff, is to make sure that it's functional to the degree that it needs to be. In terms of visuals, I don't really care that much about visually being, oh my God, look how cool it looks, and it doesn't do half the stuff you want to do. So it needs to be functional first. It still needs to look nice, and it needs to be simple. And then to me, that's the formula for success, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Tell me, you've done well with this. How do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field and come up with all these new concepts and new ideas? How do you do that?
But usually the way I do that is just the things just come to me just out of the blue, because of the environment, because of different things I read, or things like that. Like, for example, I go to networking meetings. Just to give you an example, what happened with Icon. I go to networking meetings, and you sit down, talk to 5 people, 10 people, whatever you're talking to, in half an hour or an hour, depending on the meeting. And then you're basically really spending just a couple of minutes with them. It's not like our conversation now, where we can get to know a lot more, and there's just not enough time in these meetings. The problem is that you need to do a one-on-one afterwards. If you really want to get some value, you need to do a one-on-one. And in one-on-ones, you can use Zoom, you can use Meet, there's different things you could use. But to me, I wanted to have something that, I wanted to have different backgrounds, not over the video, but on the screen, so it looks nice. So when I have my meetings, things look nice. So the background, number one. I have 2 TVs in Icon, just 2 TV displays, and that's where the video feed is, big ones. I wanted it to be branded. So above my TV, there's always a little logo. If you click on my little logo, then it goes and shows you my website. So every single session has, basically branding for your own logo. And then another thing it has, one little feature that I added that nobody has is music, because I'm a big music fan. So what happens is when I crank up the meeting, I click on the music icon, and it just starts playing my favorite tunes, not any tunes, but my favorite tunes. And then what happens when my guest shows up, it kills the music immediately. That's how I know they're there, because the music just stops playing
Very nice.
immediately.
Yeah, very
And
nice.
so this way, it both notification. It's a nice feature. And so the idea came to me that I do all these follow-ups, and this person wants to use Zoom, and this way. I wanted it to be simple. Number one. Number two, I wanted it so they don't have to get any accounts, because this one uses Google, so they need to use Google Meet. I mean, they need to use the Google account. This guy uses Microsoft, whatever.
Yeah.
This guy uses Amazon Chime, which nobody
Yeah.
uses anymore. And on and on and on. So I wanted to have a single deal where I give people a link, just one link. They don't need to set up any accounts. They don't need to download or install anything. They just simply click on that link, and they're in the meeting with me. That's it. Even the first time, okay? They just get in the meeting.
Nice.
And that's how icon was developed. So it was because of the need that, and my personal wants, and obviously I can develop stuff. I decided to do it, and I love it. I only use my one-on-one calls. I only do using Icon now, and it's available for sale if people want to buy it. And I love it. I love it. So that's one example, a specific example how kind of it came to be, because of my networking and wanting to have a nice one-on-one capability and things like that.
Guys, there it is. There's the invitation, guys. If you've got an idea or a concept that you're thinking of, you think it's crazy, well, this man, he'll unravel it for you and tell you whether it's crazy or not. So reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee. Not going to hurt you, is it? You're going to find out. You're going to grow your business, guys. You could be one click away from success. Honest to God, because it's all about technology now, guys. You've got to be using technology.
Absolutely.
Why would you use a fork when you can use a shovel? And why would you use a shovel when you can use a backhoe? Right? So there it is, guys. All you people out there using a fork, wake up. Wake up, Tell us a recent project or achievement of your many that you're particularly proud of, my friends.
The relatively recent project, which didn't end up the way I was hoping to, but it still got done on my end, was that I was involved with this company, which is a fractional ownership company. This is where they sell people really expensive houses to use fraction of the time a year. That's the idea of the business. So they come to this really fancy house, stay there for 30 days a year, and basically they don't need to do anything. It's already all furnished and very nice places, and they just basically need to book reservation to make it, depending on availability, and they have a few of these houses. So the project was given to an Indian company to develop an app that would handle everything that these owners need to be able to do.
Yep.
And without going to a lot of painful details, it didn't work out the way it was supposed to, but I told the CEO, who I've known for many years, that let me develop my own version of it as a basically plan B in case because they were not doing it the way they should have been doing it, in my opinion. And so I developed my own version of this fractional ownership app that runs on the phone. And I really liked it from a standpoint of how easy it was to use it in terms of making reservations. A lot of times you go to make reservations on websites, and they show you a calendar, and you select dates you want, and they tell you it's not available. And you select a different dates, it's not available. It's like, this is a completely wrong approach. What I want, show me what is available so I can book it. I don't show me what's not available. I don't need to be selecting and just irritating myself to no end. So I wrote mine to work this other way, where it just shows you what is available.
That's what you want to know.
You still can do some filtering in terms of which house you want or which dates you want to start with, but it shows you only what's available. And if nothing is available, it shows you it's not available. And then you make a reservation and all of that. But one of the key things I built into it, which I've never done to apps before, because it wasn't available, is building in AI, where a person can click on right in the app, click on the icon, and they can type in any question they want. I'm going to this resort. What's there to see? I'm bringing 10 kids. Can I bring a dog? And and then can I come at this place on Christmas? But the coolest thing was when I said, can you come here on Christmas? They had a rule where you can only go for a Christmas vacation once every 4 years.
Yes.
So if you already had a reservation on file, as regular AI could tell you that whatever about fishing and about this, about that, no problem. But this was specifically set up in a way where it knew what reservations you had. And it says, no, you can't come for Christmas this year because you came last year and you're not supposed to use it for it. So the rules of the system were built into the AI itself, the way I got it set up. And it was super incredibly useful. So to me, this implementation fusion of what needs to be done, like reservations and information about your interests and things like that, built in congruence with AI made a whole difference in the world. And that's, I've been pretty proud because anyway, it's obviously I put together.
Tell me, a 20-year-old, your nephew or your son or someone you know, he comes to you and says, I just left university. I'm going to go out in the big wide world. What should I do with myself? What would you tell him?
Well, if it depends what kind of major he was studying at university. So, if he's studying some major that's currently popular, like for example, he was taking computer science, maybe with the secondary part being in AI and things like that. That's very popular right now, and it's going to be for a while. So I would say just go apply for as many jobs as you can, and definitely use the internet, use AI to help you, get better than other people do, and that's what I recommend to do that. If it's something that's basically pretty generic and is not popular right now, I would say you need to switch gears. You need to, in other words, you can be bashing your head on the wall trying to find something, and that may be going to school to do some kind of a job that, maybe like right now there is shortage of nurses. So maybe you want to look into that. In other words, if you're really open to just about anything so you can get a job, otherwise you're going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's. In other words, if you don't have a degree for something that people are looking for, you're not going to be getting a job. The fact that you have education, a piece of paper right now is basically it's a piece of paper. Okay, it doesn't mean that much to a lot of people in business world today. It used to be, oh my God, he graduated from Harvard. It doesn't mean anything anymore like it used to, especially in these in terms of software engineers, things like that. They don't care if you took a 4 months boot camp and you're really good at programming. They don't care if you have a piece of paper. One piece of paper is education, another piece of paper is toilet paper. They're both pieces of paper, okay? Different functions, but that's it. It's just a piece of paper. So to me, I would recommend, look into first of all, if you're just going to school, don't pick subjects like, counselor or something that you're going to do for who knows whom if nobody's looking for people yet. You need to look into what is out there right now. Part of the problem with college is by the time you graduate, like people who went to college 4 years ago, there was no AI in mainstream. Now they're graduating and there is AI everywhere. So it's one of these things where it's really difficult to kind of time it and catch it. But I would say look at what's out there if you're just looking for college. If you're graduating from college, if you have one of these degrees that's in popular right now, great, go get a job. There's definitely jobs out there. If not, switch gears. Plan B. You always should have Plan B, in my opinion.
I say get a mentor, guys. Someone like Ollie can save you 5 and 10 years off the journey. He's done it for 44 years. What might he know? He's like an oracle. You can ask him questions. You can find stuff out real quick. He'll show you the right way, not the wrong way. He's made all the mistakes, so you don't have to make the same ones.
Sure. Thank you.
What's the best way? Looking ahead, you're only at base camp now, still climbing that mountain. What are your goals and aspirations for the future? Ollie, what are you up to?
I am going to continue to evolve as the whole AI world is evolving with all these new features and capabilities. Like yesterday, OpenAI came out with apps. You can now run from ChatGPT. You can do things like, yesterday, which, they keep amazing me. I basically said that in ChatGPT, I typed in a little prompt saying, take a look at my last find a graphic I created in Canva with the name John Lennon in it. And then change the quote to be something from Paul McCartney, leaving everything, the design, the fonts, the colors exactly the same, just to see what it'll do. Okay, because there's a lot of different things going into it. If you think about it, it needs to figure out what this John Lennon deal was. First, it needs to read the actual graphics that says John Lennon, figure that out. Then it needs to get the post. Then it needs to come up with the quote. So it comes back and says, I can give you the quote from the end. In the end, the love you make is equal to the love the love you take is equal to the love you make. And I said, this is too long because I wanted to be shorter when I post them. And I said, give me something shorter. So it came up with, okay, how about all you need is love? I said, fine, do that one. And it did a perfect job within seconds with me not touching Canva at all. So now you're getting into a completely different realm of being able to do things directly from like a little chat interface. And of course, now we're getting into the whole voice thing. So I'm looking into developing apps that kind of take things to the next level, thinking a little bit differently and developing something that we've never done before. That's what I'm looking for in the future.
Yeah. I just went over to Malaysia with my VIP clients, and I was pumping out graphics in like half a day that his graphic artist was taking weeks to do. And I took the existing stuff and just improved it, like in minutes. Unbelievable stuff.
Totally, totally, absolutely.
And he says, "How did you do that? How did you do that?" I said, "I should
No, and
graphic."
now, in addition to that, that's the graphic part. Now you can do videos, and then we're talking Hollywood style videos. You can actually do videos that look spectacular with sound and narration. I mean, the possibilities is just like I said, 24 hours is not enough to play with all this stuff because there is so much stuff and it's so good. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Well, I saw one the other day. They did something like Denzel Washington 5, and it's bullshit. There is no Denzel Washington 5, but they had the script and like the first chapter. And you dead set thought it was. One of the actors they had in it was dead. Like unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's unbelievable what you can do. Yesterday, I decided to do something like PSA just for fun. So I took a picture of a tree. I dropped a picture in the tree because I'm a big fan of trees. Dropped the picture of the tree into this program that creates videos, and I said, put a couple of eyes and the mouth on it, and I said, I want you to say, something about stop using so much paper. You're killing us. If you're killing us, then you're basically killing yourself. I'm not a tree hugger or anything like that. But at the same time, my favorite hashtag is no paper. The fact that people use paper today for note taking, everything else, to me just makes me cringe because there's absolutely no reason for doing it. Very, very inefficient. And I'm definitely all about efficiency. And so anyway, I put this little deal that this tree is talking to people saying, stop using so much paper. I created this little video with the exact text I wanted, using the voice I wanted. Within a minute, it was done. And I said I wanted the leaves rustling, so you can hear the leaves rustling sound, all of that, in a beautiful meadow, with a single tree like that. And it was exactly right on, perfect. I posted it, well done. And so if you think about business and how much you can do with actually creating even short videos, very, very short videos, doesn't have to be long, but you can completely change. First of all, it's going to cost you a fraction of what it used to cost. And second of all, you can put out a lot more content and get a lot more traction because of the kind of quality it is. It's not some crap quality anymore. So, yeah.
I was paying, back in my day, I've had 5 multi-million-dollar businesses. Back in my day, I was paying a graphic artist like $100 an hour. I was paying $500 for a fucking logo that took 2 weeks to produce. I'm now producing them in minutes, probably seconds, but minutes. And I got 20. I got 20 different choices, and 8 of them are good.
No, absolutely. And then you say, you said, give me 20, it gives you 20. And if you don't like it for any reason, then you say, give me 20 more. It'll give you 20 more. And then you keep doing it. And this goes back to my comment that you mentioned about one of my favorite deals. I put a signature that says, use AI, but don't forget you have a brain. That's exactly what I mean by don't forget you have a brain. AI will do a lot of stuff for you, but it's not perfect. And it's not exact to what you might want to have. Maybe you have a certain look in mind, and it's not quite doing it, and you try to change the prompt and everything else. That's where the brain comes in. Because if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I cannot create art. I'm horrible at art. I used to be really bad in school. I don't do art. But the stuff I create in AI, including this background of mine, you can see right there, and stuff, that's people go, wow, did you do this? How did you do this? People like to see specialized graphically, especially if you get now into video part. And so this is where I said, you like the icon thing that I put together, the one-on-one video calling. I used what they call vibe coding, meaning I used AI to help me write it. So it was written much, much faster than if I was coding manually. Okay. And people say, did you write this? I said, no, I orchestrated it. And that's what I mean. You use your own brain and then at the same time you use AI. So yeah.
Amplifies your voice, guys. It amplifies.
Correct.
Simple. Tell me, what's the best way for our listeners to reach out and find out? I mean, this gentleman, he's not about big projects, guys. It's about all types of projects. So if you've got a small idea, reach out to him. You've got a big idea, reach out to him. The worst you can do is have a virtual cup of coffee on his link, his famous link, or your link. Doesn't matter. But reach out to him. What's the best way to reach out to you, please?
The best way you can reach out, obviously, through my website, which is pcs-works.com. That's one way. I'm also easily found on LinkedIn. If you look
Yep.
for my name, first
Yep.
last name, there's a bunch of Oleg's, but there's only one Oleg Moskalinsky. And so you can find me on there. And also I have basically a link I use, short link, for setting up a one-on-one kind of like Calendly deal, but it's using a different service. So you
Yep.
can set up a one-on-one meeting with me. And if you do that, then it'll be using icon. So you can see what icon is like.
Fantastic.
So,
And guys, don't forget, I'll be putting, we're going to turn this whole thing into, as we will for you if you come on 15 Minutes to Fame, we're going to turn this whole thing into a mini movie, like a high quality movie that is evergreen. And Ollie and I will both be using it to put it on LinkedIn, Quora, Reddit, Facebook, our Facebook group with 6,500 members, and of course YouTube, with all of his links, and potentially put him in front of hundreds of clients. You couldn't have done that 12 months ago. So that's the deal, guys. Ollie, before we let you go, my friend, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know. You're an interesting man, but tell us something most people don't know.
Most people don't know. Well, I guess a lot of people see my accent, but they're not sure if it's Russian or not, and it is. And but I guess probably the biggest thing I would say would be that I'm a huge Beatles fan, and that I can answer any questions you have about computers, at least most of them, and definitely about the Beatles. I'm a huge fan, and I know the history pretty well. So those people usually look at you as a computer guy, as some kind of a nerd guy, which I'm not, because I did play drums. And then when I say you can ask me anything about computers or the Beatles, and you know, that's basically.
I can see you now with your friends walking across the crossing and taking a picture.
Exactly.
Good on you, my friend. It's been awesome having you on the show. Any last
Thank you, Jeff.
Any last words to wrap it all up for us?
Just wanted to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and taking the time to talk to me. Been a real pleasure, and thank you for what you're doing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this ending video, which I'll definitely promote. It's not going to go on paper, but it's going to go everywhere else.
That's what it is. Okay, thanks very much.